It's that time of the year again, when we comment on all the games that could appear at next month's Electronic Entertainment Expo. Based on rumors, developer quotes, timeframes, and the odd bit of guesstimation, we compiled our thoughts on the 15 biggest games rumored for E3 2019. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Platinum Games game that has never been done before. There's a lot going on with Platinum Games. It's even developing an exclusive game for Apple's arcade platform. Even with these titles in development, studio head Atsushi Inaba confirmed that 2 of its projects would be new independent IPs owned entirely by the studio. Speaking to Video Games Chronicle, Inaba also said that right now we're in the middle of designing something that has never been done before. I know a lot of people say that, but the game we're working on is truly unlike anything else. Even for our varied history of veteran game developers, this is something that has never been designed before. 2019 is an important all-around year for releases at Platinum Games, but what could make these IPs stand out? Well, hopefully E3 provides some answers. Splinter Cell. Franchises come and go, entering into hibernation and emerging into new forms as the years go by. And yet, one of Ubisoft's pinnacle franchises, Splinter Cell, is due for a renaissance. So what's taking so long? According to Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot, while speaking to IGN, the studio became anxious following the release of Splinter Cell Blacklist, since the fanbase wasn't too keen on a lot of changes. Guillemot would note that there are some people looking at it, taking care of the brand, and that at some point you will see something, but couldn't offer more information than that. Still, we hold out hope for Sam Fisher's return, and a tease at E3, if nothing else. Assassin's Creed 2020. You may or may not subscribe to the recent leak which pegged Assassin's Creed 2020 as Assassin's Creed Ragnarok with co-op gameplay, cross-gen support, and so on. But a Viking setting has been unofficially confirmed since early April. Kotaku's Jason Schreier would go on to confirm from 2 independent sources that the next Assassin's Creed, codenamed Kingdom, would release in 2020 and indeed feature Vikings. Ubisoft usually tends to tease and release an Assassin's Creed title within the same year, so perhaps it could buck that trend at E3 with Kingdom. Luminous Productions' new AAA IP. This shouldn't come as too big a surprise for those who have been following the post-release content schedule of Final Fantasy XV. In November 2018, director Hajime Tabata, who helmed Luminous Productions, would resign from the studio, leading to the cancellation of all DLC episodes except Episode Arden. After the release of Episode Arden, DLC director Takeshi Terada confirmed that a new IP was in development. The team that created Final Fantasy XV wants to create a new AAA title that is not an existing IP. It's why Luminous Productions was born. So you can expect a new world that's high quality, and Terada has assured that the next project is already in motion. Whether Square Enix will tease it during its E3 broadcast will depend on other titles like the upcoming Final Fantasy VII Remake, which it promised new information on. If the slate is full or development simply isn't far enough along, we may have to wait longer for an announcement. Naoki Yoshida's next game. Of course, you also have to factor in Naoki Yoshida's next project. It was recently revealed that Yoshida now leads Square Enix's 3rd development division on a new project. The recruitment page teased that, quote, this project has already finished its initial development, has finished developing its development environment, and is now shifting to a full-scale, large-scale development phase. Yoshida has spoken before about wanting to work on Final Fantasy XVI and implementing a heavier fantasy approach with the title. Whether Square Enix has given him the reins on the flagship series' next iteration remains to be seen, but given Yoshida's success, he definitely sticks out as the most worthy candidate. Dino Crisis Reboot. In early April, Reset Era's Leo Karian put together a list of E3 2019 predictions based on insider information at his disposal. It's fairly interesting stuff. Apparently, Capcom is planning to premiere a Dino Crisis reboot at Microsoft's E3 presser with a release by 2020. The same predictions list also notes that the next Splinter Cell will be at the Xbox presser. Leo Karian is verified by the forum, and to be fair, Capcom has seen major success by revitalizing core franchises in 2019. Would it be so odd then to bring back another beloved franchise in a rebooted, if not reimagined form? Ninja Theory's next game. It's safe to assume that Ninja Theory, the studio behind the critically acclaimed Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, is working on something new. Bleeding Edge is a name that's being floated by rumors. After being acquired by Microsoft last year and supporting Hellblade since its initial release in August 2017, it stands to reason that something brand new is in development, even if we may not see it until next year. But that's more or less it. There's very little in terms of leaks, so even if it is revealed, we have no clue what kind of game this will even be. Joseph Fares' new game. In the midst of so many great releases last year, it's easy to forget about Joseph Fares and A Way Out. Fares' attitude certainly granted some exposure to the title, which would go on to become a strong success. However, he also noted EA's support in development and confirmed to Eurogamer that this next project would be published by the company. The title was in pre-production for a few months, according to Fares in June 2018, and he said it's unlikely to be seen for the next few years. Would that stop EA from teasing it? Well, it could pull another Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and throw Fares a mic in the crowd of its presser, but there's no press conference at EA Play this year. It's looking more and more unlikely, but never say never, especially when Fares is involved. Harry Potter: Magic Awakened. In October 2018, footage for a title set in the Harry Potter universe leaked online. BBC journalist Liso Mzimba would subsequently report that this was an RPG called Harry Potter: Magic Awakened and that other titles in the franchise were in the works. Hogwarts and spells were showcased in the footage. However, according to an apparent blurb for the game, it'll see players entering the school as a new 5th-year student before embarking on a journey to battle dark wizards, goblins, and other threats. The story is separate from the books and the films, but there hasn't been a whole lot of chatter about it recently, aside from Eurogamer's report denying that Rocksteady is developing it, with Avalanche Studio named instead. If the game was a year away from launch at the time of reporting, that would point towards an autumn 2019 release date, which subsequently points towards an E3 reveal. If the project is delayed, it wouldn't be strange for Warner Bros. To finally unveil it with a trailer at E3 and announce a release window for 2020. BLUEPOINT Games' RE-ENVISIONED game. After its startling work on the Shadow of the Colossus remake, BLUEPOINT Games has something bigger in development. Coining it a re-envisioning while speaking to DualShockers, technical director Peter Dalton said that it goes well beyond what we thought was possible in Shadow of the Colossus. The developer had already confirmed in March 2018 that it was doing another remake, so you can't help but wonder if the scale grew even bigger since. This project's identity is anyone's guess. Many hope for Demon's Souls on the PS4, but we'll have to wait and see. Rocksteady's next game. There have been various rumors floating around regarding the next title from Rocksteady Studios. The Batman Arkham Knight developer has been rumored to be working on a new Superman title, an Outlaws title, Batman Arkham Crisis, Suicide Squad, and the list goes on. One employee who recently joined Rocksteady's QA team apparently tweeted out a GIF for the DC Universe before hastily replacing it with something else. Whatever the developer's working on, it's given no indication of when it could be revealed, so as usual, we're gonna hedge our bets on E3. Square Enix's Avengers. Unlike Rocksteady's next game, Square Enix hasn't hidden the fact that it's working on an Avengers title with Crystal Dynamics at the helm. In a recent job listing for a narrative designer, the developer was seeking to create an emotional experience while seeking someone with a passion for games and ambition to create a Game of the Year title. A post on Reset Era, which has since been removed, also indicated that it would be a third-person action-adventure with stealth, melee combat, and cover systems. While the potential slate of games at Square's presser could determine the breadth of its reveal, given the success of Avengers Endgame, it wouldn't be strange for Square Enix to capitulate on that momentum and at least debut a new cinematic trailer. Project RE-Fantasy. Persona 5 was a phenomenal success for Atlus and further showcased director Katsura Hoshino's skill as a director. However, after years of working on the franchise, it was announced in December 2016 that Hoshino would be working with the newly established Studio Zero on a brand new fantasy RPG series. Codenamed Project RE-Fantasy, we've seen artwork teasing elves, dragons, characters on horseback, and other medieval fantasy tropes. With Sega, who currently owns Atlus, appearing at E3 2019, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to expect a trailer at the very least. Fable 4. Playground Games is best known for its work on Forza Horizon, with the latest game in the series, Forza Horizon 4, launching in October 2018. However, in February 2017, the company had opened a second studio for a new open-world project, one that was specifically non-racing. Last year, Microsoft would acquire Playground Games, and its reasoning was somewhat revealed. A new Fable was in development. According to a report by Eurogamer in January 2018, Microsoft had hired Playground Games to create a new Fable title. A few days later, former Lionhead lead engine programmer Don Williamson said in a now-deleted tweet that despite having no inside information, he totally knows who's building Fable 4 and called it an interesting choice. While this didn't outright confirm Playground's involvement, the acknowledgement of the project's existence, followed by Microsoft acquiring the studio several months later, well, it isn't hard to piece this one together. With a renewed focus on the next generation, especially with the next Xbox rumored to be revealed at E3, it wouldn't be the worst time for Microsoft to finally announce Fable 4. Watch Dogs 3. When the Assassin's Creed franchise skipped a year after the release of Syndicate, Watch Dogs 2 emerged in 2016 to fill that coveted fall holiday release space. Now, Ubisoft has stated that there won't be a new Assassin's Creed this year, with the rumored Vikings title out in 2020. So you'd just assume that a new Watch Dogs is coming, right? Well, if the patched ending for Watch Dogs 2 didn't tip you off, then Kotaku's Jason Schreier would recently confirm that Watch Dogs 3 is indeed in development and set in London. Other rumors have stated that the game will be out this year and allow players to choose either a male or female protagonist with the same story playing out. Furthermore, hacking would be emphasized strongly, with smaller guns and knives serving as the weaponry. And that wraps it up. If you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing to our channel. We upload new videos daily. Also, don't forget to switch on the bell notification icon, that way you don't miss out on any of our videos.